Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the D-Pad Podcast, brought to you by theelbowdrop.com, where we're dropping the elbow on all things sports and entertainment. I am Nick Patch, and with me is Don Vito.
How you doing, guys?
The Birdman.
What's up, Patch?
Bob.
Hi.
And I, of course, am Nick Patch. And we have a very special topic we're talking about today. One of our very favorite systems, consoles of all time. We're going to talk about the Nintendo 64 a little bit.
Video games.
Video games.
I'm pumped.
With wires.
N64, we all owned it.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
It's very
Still, I
symbolic
think we all
part of
still
us.
own it.
That's true.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
I do too, yeah. Mine's still hooked up.
Yeah, I think we all have ours. Well, half of us have ours hooked up.
Plugged mine in last night, started playing through some games, brought back a lot of memories.
I
Good
don't know
memories.
where mine is, but I know I still own it.
You don't know
Thank
where your
God.
64 is?
Somewhere in the attic.
What kind of a 90s child are you?
Don't get rid
Don't
of
go
it,
there. I'm not going to get rid of it.
Who would ever get rid of it?
I will save it like for my kids.
even if it breaks.
Absolutely. They can look at it and be like, you see the shit I had to put up with? Didn't even work, and I played with it.
You want to know what's crazy? 1 year from now, we'll be getting ready to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of the Nintendo 64.
Wow, 20 years
Jesus
already.
Christ.
We
You're
are-
gonna- you're
we
gonna
are
be
fucking
celebrating
old. We are old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
hell yeah, I'm
All
gonna
right, let's get
celebrate.
together.
That
Patch
makes
is
me
making
feel
a
old as
reservation.
fuck,
The
man.
Golden Island will definitely occur.
Oh, my God.
Zelda run through?
Just the N64 games when it takes us fucking 3 days to complete Majora's Mask because we skip all the important side quests.
That's true. Well, we didn't have to 100% it. We just had to beat the main quest.
Yeah, I know,
3
but
days to beat the game, like,
no,
just
that's
main story?
that's an over-exaggeration.
And I never beat it, I'll be honest.
I want to say the last time we did a Zelda run-through, we said we were going to do Ocarina, Majora, and Twilight.
Yeah.
We never got to Twilight.
Well, me and you didn't.
Yeah.
Other people stuck it out.
We finished Majora, and we finished Ocarina, and then started Majora. And what was the big problem? Do you remember the big problem we had with
Probably
it?
the water temple.
No, it was something like we needed an item.
You needed the
and-
horse, maybe?
And we skipped it. Maybe that was it. Maybe to get to the Great Bay, we need to get into Termina Bay.
Majora's Mask was a bit of a pain in the ass.
We'll
Look,
talk.
yeah, it's
We're
on
going
our
to talk
list.
a lot about Majora's Mask, a lot about Ocarina of Time, a lot about our favorite N64 games tonight on the D-Pad podcast. Some background information on the N64. Like I said, 1996, June 23rd, released in Japan. September is when it came to North America. I remember, and I know we were only, 7 years old at the time, 6 years old?
I was 5.
You were 5. I remember the hype was unreal that summer. Like when
same
this
here.
thing was coming over, a Nintendo console with the graphics of the PlayStation. PlayStation was already here at that point. And I owned one. I don't know if any of you guys did.
Not until
No.
much later.
No, I was a Sega man.
Yeah, I got the. So did you have the Saturn out of curiosity?
No, I had Genesis. So I
Okay.
had Sega Genesis.
You never went with the Saturn to CD.
No.
I had that.
You
I
had
went-
the Saturn. Oh,
Went
you
from
poor
Genesis
boy.
to
Yeah.
N64.
My friend
Actually.
had it. My best friend had it. Only reason why I wanted it.
Oh, okay. I was the same way with the Dreamcast eventually. But back to the N64 before we get off topic
The
again.
Dreamcast too, I own. Go on.
September 96, the game comes out. Something that I looked up, and I was surprised at, only 2 launch titles, which is unheard of nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
the one released with 12 games, 10 of them original. The PS4 definitely released with 7 or 8 original games. 2 games.
Well,
Two-
so
two
one of
original
them
games.
was
Definitely
Super
one of
Mario.
Super Mario.
Super
One
Mario
was Mario
64.
64.
Wave Race.
Pilot Wings 64.
Oh, I knew it was a
Oh,
vehicle
yes,
game.
that makes sense.
Pilot Wings.
That movie with Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah, it was good.
No, that's Iron Eagle. I'm getting off.
They'd wanted to release a whole bunch of other ones. Like when we get to talk about Ocarina was originally supposed to be a launch title.
I feel like every console that gets launched has some sort of a vehicle game.
Let's think back. I remember it
The
was
360.
I know 360 and the PS3 definitely did.
was the
Yeah,
original.
Forza, and I think a Burnout series.
Did the original Xbox come out with Project Gotham Racing? Because I remember that game. Was
yes,
the
yes,
shit.
PGR. Yeah, that came out. Yeah, that launched.
Project Gotham. It was like that and Halo were the only 2 games I owned when I.
I don't know if there was a
Xbox.
racing game for PS4 on launch.
Well, not driving, but like a vehicle-based game. Like whether you were like driving, flying, or doing something, even like a sports game that involved vehicles or something.
Does Mario Kart count?
Like
as a
Fusion
vehicle game?
Frenzy. Fusion Frenzy was a debut Xbox title, but there was a lot of vehicle play in that.
I suppose. So
Back to Nintendo 64.
back to Nintendo 64.
Nintendo is the topic at hand.
Anyone want to take some guesses how many units were sold? Because I looked it up because I was curious. How many units were shipped worldwide? I guess that's
I
not
want to
technically
say
sold.
64 something because that would be the poetry of it.
64,000.
But
Anyone who bought one died after.
more than that.
It's more than 64,000.
Well, we all had one, so that's at least 4. And
There's a 4, yeah. Okay, I was about to go. There's 5 of us here. No, there's not.
no. Well, the other one, Mikey Balls, is currently playing a Nintendo product.
I'll tell you, it's in the millions.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Tens of millions or hundreds of millions?
You got your one hint.
I don't want to play. I don't want to play Jeopardy. Let's just throw out a guess.
Yeah, throw out a guess.
It's
Come
in the millions.
This is worldwide. This is not area specific. Area specific might shock you because it shocked me.
What is 12.5 million?
A little more.
I was gonna go with 15. More?
28.5 million.
How do you jump to 28.5? He
It's-
said 12. I
Hey,
said 15.
hey, it's more.
Wow, really?
It's more. Worldwide, it's more. Yes.
So why'd you say a little more when I said 15?
65.
Well, because I didn't want you to go to like
65
50 or 60.
Final answer.
Oh,
65, no, it's too much.
48 million.
All right. Enough with the
let's
guessing.
stop guessing.
32.93 million was the worldwide shipment. Want to guess how many were shipped to America out of that 32?
28.
Yeah, I was gonna say less.
It's out of that 32.
I was only 15.
Remember, Nintendo, it came out in Japan first. Japanese company. You say 15?
I say 28.
I'm not good at tests. Just tell me. Give me the answer.
20.5 million.
20.5.
Damn.
Japan only received 5.5 million, and the rest of the regions, Europe, Australia, the other 6. So Europe and Australia
Jesus
outsold
Christ.
Japan.
I believe it.
Go us.
Yeah, I mean Nintendo is it's a Japanese company. I was shocked by those numbers.
No, I feel like
Because those kids are busy studying.
Yeah.
Man. They're in school.
Japan has no kids. We want to talk about the political and population of Japan right now. I'll talk about it for days, but
Yeah, seriously.
they
Don't-
have no
don't get
kids.
us
Well, maybe
started.
that's
Don't
why
get
there
us
was no
started.
Nintendo 64.
is that tsunami
no
to
children.
blame?
No, it's the rapid aging of the population, the lack of children being born.
You
But
sure it's not Freddy Krueger?
I'm pretty sure there's no Elm Street in Japan.
Japan also has, what is it?
You got a point.
No,
The
there's
oldest citizens in the world?
Mostrito.
They do. They have the longest life expectancy. Well, this is not a Japan podcast.
Jesus
No.
Christ.
This is
Nintendo
the
64.
It's like playing that game on Wikipedia. You're just jumping from things, and it's irresistible.
So yeah, that's a lot of release consoles, and go figure. Not surprising, like America's responsible for most.
I gotta admit, I was surprised because, like I said, it's a Japanese company. The NES and the SNES, I'm pretty sure both were outsold the American markets in Japan. But the N64, it's like 96 is just after the SNES and the Genesis blew up the game market. Not like blew up in a bad way. It got so popular and so huge. You look at the sales from that generation, which has usually been called the fourth or the fifth, to the N64 and PlayStation generation, it's massive. And it's crazy. And it sort of started this roller coaster that we're on now with the video game industry.
Well, I think that was it. Like because of how well the SNES was in North America, why not buy the next one? So I felt it was like earlier installments for Nintendo.
Have you read the book Console Wars?
No, but I think Don Vito has.
Have you
not.
read?
No, you haven't?
Have you guys
Wait,
heard of it?
console,
I've heard of
console
it. I've
wars.
never-
When
never
did that
read
come
it.
out? A few years ago.
Yeah, it came out
It
maybe
was
a
recent.
year or two ago.
I didn't get a chance.
It's magnificent. I'm like I take 2/3 of the way through it, and supposedly there's some studio has the rights to make a movie about it. But it's just about the Genesis. It's really more about Sega versus Nintendo. They talk about the Master System. They talk about the NES.
Yes,
but
I am
Wow.
familiar.
it's mostly about the SNES versus the Genesis, and it's absolutely incredible.
Must
Like
be
these
incredible.
two heavyweight like boxers just duking it out. in
Yeah,
the ring.
Genesis, man.
Put Leonardo DiCaprio in your
They
movie and you'll
rocked.
make money. That's true.
They made Nintendo quake a
let's-
little bit, you know?
Leonardo DiCaprio as the Nintendo.
Or maybe put The
64.
Rock in it because according to him, he's Hollywood Viagra.
He is, dude. Let's not even talk about it.
All right, but, you know, N64.
Let's talk about the games.
64 bits of sweet gaming goodness.
Oh yeah, the bits.
Yeah,
Should we
sure.
talk about what bits are?
Yeah, sure.
Funny thing that
Please tell me.
I looked up. I don't know. But funny thing I looked up. Most games didn't utilize all 64 bits. They were still 32-bit games, really. The 64 thing was mostly for gimmick, just like with the Atari Jaguar and things like that.
Did Super Mario 64 use 64 bits?
It did.
I remembered enjoying the graphics to that game.
It did. You know, but you know what the extra bits had more to do with? The draw distance, like the length you can see far. You know what I mean?
Ah.
That's what.
Oh, yeah,
that's why
that's
if you ever
right.
notice a lot of games like had high walls so you can't see far
Yes.
distance. Super Mario 64 doesn't have that.
It was endless.
Games that came out later, like the Zelda games, the Banjo and Kazooie games, the Donkey Kong 64, all utilized everything because they needed those long draw distances. But a lot of the early games, like I don't want to say specifically because I didn't look up any specifics, but I'm sure games like Pilot Wings or Superman 64 definitely did not utilize the entirety of the system.
How can we forget
Because a
those
lot of
classics?
a lot of third party and even second party companies, they weren't given the technology to begin making games. So either they delayed their release, which a lot of like Rare did with all their games, all of Rare's games, and they're all great, came out so much later in the Nintendo 64's lifespan.
That's true.
Or they just release crap early, which is what you see with like Superman 64 and then some other really crappy.
Now,
N64
you know,
games.
I mean, let's be kind to
You know, now that you
Superman
mentioned that, I
64.
remember playing the Spider-Man game for the Nintendo 64.
Oh, I got that. That was
What-
yeah, that's right. You can look into the distance of the buildings
And
if you are on like a long level.
No, I'm saying when you look far when you're swinging, it's white. All you see is white.
No, yeah, but exactly. But the draw distance though in that game was still pretty surprising.
It was all right.
All right, to the games now. Talked enough about the system, although I do have something to add about the system later on. But it does come in the late part of the system's lifestyle.
Cool,
lifespan.
cool. I'm
So
a
who,
fan of
who wants to
addition.
break us off with their first game?
I'm gonna give you the list of the top 10 best-selling N64 games of all time. You want to hear that list?
Sure,
So the obvious number one is obvious. It's Super Mario 64
makes sense.
Yeah,
at 11.6 million.
that's good.
I mean,
Man.
which we did right before we came on here. We looked at other game consoles, though, later generations, like Grand Theft Auto 5 for the 360 sold, what would we say, 15 million, 20 million almost.
A lot.
17
San
something.
Andreas was like 25 million for the PS2. It's crazy that like how much through each generation games have just been selling more and more and becoming more and more mainstream. But Super Mario 64 is the best, and there's nothing really close to it. The next best, anyone want to try and guess?
Mario Kart.
Good guess. 9.87 million is Mario Kart 64.
I also played that game.
Still have that one. That one's in my.
I actually don't have my Mario Kart anymore.
really.
I was looking for it when I was looking through my games. I couldn't find it.
Oh,
Did you ever play the Mario Kart drinking game?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, so painful.
We
Did
all
you
played
play,
Mario
Did you play
Kart.
it the real way, or did you play it like the Buster way?
Probably the Buster way.
What's your way?
My way?
Yeah.
We did
Buster
it with
way.
the balloons.
What do you mean the balloon?
Wait, so wait,
Oh, you
with
did
the balloon
you
battle.
did play
No,
the balloon battle.
That is
Battle cart.
that is the Buster way. So what you do, listeners out there, if you want to play the Mario Kart drinking game, is you crack open 3 beers and you begin a race. And you have to finish those 3 beers before you can finish the race. The stipulation is you cannot be holding the controller and drinking at the same time because drinking and driving is illegal. So,
That's great.
yeah, and it's very, very painful and difficult, especially when you play with Irish kids who just chug their beers like champs.
Yeah.
So, third best-selling N64 game, GoldenEye 007 at 8 million.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Pierce Brosnan.
You bought me that, Don Vito.
Did I?
For my birthday.
Oh, that's a great game, man. I love that fucking game.
Still
Four
remember when I beat it.
4 is Ocarina of Time
Wow.
at a whopping 7.6 million. 5 is Super
Burger
Smash Brothers at 5 million. 6, and this was a big surprise to me because I was surprised that it even broke a million, was Diddy Kong Racing.
That was
another
great
fun game.
I have a lot of notes
Wasn't
on
that
that
supposed to
game.
be
love
called
that
like
one.
Banjo Racing or something?
I'll get to it, don't worry. 4.4 million for Diddy Kong Racing. Pokemon Stadium is
Yes.
what number is that?
Another game I got
Six.
for my
I'm actually
birthday.
surprised it's not a
7.
little higher.
3.9 million. That's a lot though
I
for back
remember
then.
when
sure,
that
it's a
came
lot.
out.
There's only 42 games that have broken the million copy sold plateau for the 64. These are just the top 10 of them. There's 42 total. Pokemon Stadium was 7. DK64 is 8 with 3.7 million. Majora's Mask at 3.3 million is 9, and then something that I know Larry's gonna be very happy about. Star Fox 64 is 10 with
Great
3.3.
game. Classic
Lot of
game.
originals.
Would you like to bring us into Star Fox 64 because I've never played it personally.
You've never played Star
Never
Fox?
played
I never played
64?
it. I watch.
I
Vito play
played
it.
Star Fox on the SNES.
I played the
Not on
first
64.
couple levels of Star Fox 64.
And I played Star Fox Adventures on
I
the
was
GameCube.
late to the game. I didn't play it until I was like 10 years old. I played it at this born again Christian kid's house, and I was surprised he had this game.
Are you referring to Ian?
No.
No.
Just no kid I played basketball with.
Oh, okay.
But like he had all these like lighthearted games, but then he had Star Fox 64, which was just amazing. There's a level that mimics in the like final battle scene of Independence Day that you get to play controlling furry creatures and R-wing fighter jets. It's just an awesome
You
looking
get to
game.
land on an asteroid?
Well,
I said Independence Day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you not play the Independence Day game for the PlayStation?
No, I did see
I
it
got Armageddon on my head.
Fucking horrific.
on the Sega
It was
Saturn.
terrible.
It's so bad.
But Star Fox 64, I was a late bloomer to it, but I very much enjoyed it. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know what it is, it's Control
It's one
4.
of the best flying games. I did play it later in life.
Yeah,
Much later in life. Like
one of the better. Yeah.
I love the fucking flying game because I had never really been exposed to flying games. I played that game when I was like 15, 16.
Yeah. For some reason, you play as
And I was like, you know what?
animals with cybertronic legs that fly airplanes
Exactly.
or.
That was that.
I played-
Fighter jets.
I
I
played
don't-
Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube. That was.
I
fun.
enjoyed
Wow.
Star Fox
Did you really?
Adventures.
Really?
I actually
that's
did.
controversial. You better watch out. You might get red
I
flagged
did.
by
We
YouTube.
just
It made no
lost half our
sense, but I
audience.
enjoyed it because I got to walk around.
Why? Why would you enjoy that though?
Dinosaurs, bro.
Okay, but look at the driver's seat.
Can't go wrong with dinosaurs.
Yes, you can.
You cannot.
Yes, you can.
You should
Vito.
play this game.
Have you played Turok?
You're followed by
yeah,
a
you
Triceratops.
can-
That's
Yeah,
Vito,
there's like
have
2
you
games.
played Turok?
Of course I have.
Wait,
I don't believe
which
that.
one you?
I have.
showing
I
on
have played Turok on the
Turok?
N64.
No, I'm not saying that they're bad. I just don't think Vito's ever played Turok before.
Yeah.
Bob, you were a witness to me playing Turok.
You
were
scared of
witnessing me.
dinosaurs.
You watched me play that game.
Here we go. It's cousinly fighting.
No, there's no fighting.
All right, some other games that broke the million that I thought were notable. Both
man.
Banjo games did.
Loved both.
I'll talk about them at
Actually, I
length
only
later.
love
loved
both of
one, but I respect the other.
I'm not sure. I did not look up how many wrestling games were on the N64, but 4 of them broke a million.
Can I guess? Can I guess?
Sure, I don't have them written down, though, so I'm going to have to go
It's-
from memory.
so
we
just-
know.
Just say I'm right.
I can only imagine.
WCW versus NWO World Tour
Yes.
had to be one of them.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I think it's the best selling.
WrestleMania 2000.
Hopefully.
I don't remember if I saw it on the
WWF
list.
No Mercy.
That was one.
No Mercy.
Warzone?
definitely. And then Warzone.
It was.
I
I'll
was
tell
gonna
you
say
this.
Warzone.
It was 2 WCW games and 2
Revenge.
WWE games.
Well, yeah, there was
Revenge.
World
Revenge
Tour
was the other one.
Revenge were the only WCW games.
And they both sold better than both WWE games.
I loved
Wow.
Revenge.
Well, because the
Revenge.
control scheme was better.
All the heels and faces had only one music. Each bad guy had
Yeah,
one
yeah,
entrance, and each good guy
Well,
had
that
one
was in part
entrance.
2. In part 1 of World Tour, they'd just stand in the corner and like put their arms up and like return.
Well, I'm not.
World Tour is great though.
The soundtrack in that game,
Dude, the
were
roster
great.
was incredible.
Yeah,
You
because
had
you could play as Santa
everybody.
Claus. And
No,
like,
I mean because they had like contract
They had
negotiations
Master
with like
Fuji and
the Japan promotions, the Mexican promotions. There was so many guys. You could
no,
play
yeah, there were a
as.
lot of people. There were 2 different Stings.
There was that guy. What was his name?
2
Punch
different
Taco.
Stings.
Punch Taka. No,
Punch
because
Taka,
each
something like that.
character,
That
if
was
they didn't have
great.
the right, like Master
I don't
Fuji,
know.
like they would borrow. They took licenses. They weren't.
there was a
allowed
guy
to.
in Revenge that wore a Frankenstein mask. I don't even know who the hell he was.
No. That's because of the Halloween Havoc. They included them. That's
Uh,
why.
They put in a guy in
Rebel
World,
Cop.
They
That's
put in a
because
guy
it's
in
a
World
character.
Tour named
Rebel
AKI Man.
What is AKI?
No, he wasn't.
That was the
he
name of the
no.
company.
He was not in
That was
World
in No
Tour. He was
Mercy.
in WWF No Mercy.
No, that was in.
No, it wasn't.
That was No
Don't
Mercy.
test
man.
me, lad.
100%. AKI
Birdman.
man.
Birdman. AKI Man did not show up till WWF No Mercy.
Patch.
Batch. Settle this, please.
Oh, I gotta look this up.
I remember specifically picking.
Let's
AKI
move on.
man
Let's
once
move
and
on
then
while
once.
he's
Okay, well,
doing
he
that.
I was
looked it up.
trying to find the amount WWE 2K15 sold. I couldn't find it, but at the same
600 copies.
shut up.
Vito bought 20 of them.
At the same time,
500
4
of them were signed by Hogan.
Dude, the fact that 4 wrestling games made over a million, sold over a million copies for one console,
One console
is
generation.
unbelievable. It just shows you how hot wrestling was
Attitude
at that
era,
time.
bro.
Like
God.
98, 99,
True.
2000, wrestling was white freaking hot.
That was the best part.
Anyway, N64 games that aren't wrestling related, although I hope Patch is taking care of that. Did you hit number 1 on that list, Patch?
Number 1 on what?
On your top 10 of selling games?
Mario. I told you
Yeah,
Mario.
it was Mario.
No, number 10 I meant.
Yeah, Star Fox. Star Fox was number 10.
Star Fox 64.
The other ones that they weren't in the top 10, but I just thought they were worth writing down were the Banjo games, the wrestling games, and then basically every single Pokemon game that was released for the N64.
Did anybody
Oh,
play
absolutely.
Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay,
Never
but I mean,
played it.
did everybody play it? I should ask.
I did not.
Go
You
home
know,
and change your
yeah,
life.
really. What have you done?
Go home and change your life.
That's a
I
big
tried
game.
playing it. I really couldn't get into it.
How did you not get into it? It's a lovable bear and a chicken, and they're off to, save his little bear sister and defeat a witch and collect puzzle pieces and make pretty pictures. I mean, I don't understand.
Didn't like it, man.
They shoot eggs. They can. All right.
just did not like it.
Vito has dinosaurs in it.
It's got
That's okay.
in the
So,
sequel,
so you should
right?
shut up, La.
Okay.
So, I like dinosaurs. I don't love everything with dinosaurs.
Pretend they're dinosaurs.
There's a shaman. There's Papa Shango. He turns you into many animals.
Banjo-Kazooie,
His name is Mumbo Jumbo.
in doing my research. What are you laughing at? That's
No,
his
it is.
actual
That's
name.
his name.
It's hysterical.
Yeah.
Then why don't you play the freaking game,
Creative.
Vito?
No, I'm good.
All right.
So Banjo-Kazooie was released June 29th, 1998, and interestingly enough,
day.
in my research for this, found out that it had been in development for over 3 years. Started in '95 because it was going to be a release. What is that called?
Launch title.
Launch
title.
title. But got delayed and changed over time. And yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is really, really high up there. Like, as far as, I'm not a big fan of collection games, especially current gen stuff. Like, you look at things like Crackdown or, what was another one? Is Infamous like that? I don't play Infamous. But
Infamous
it seems like
was a
very
launch title.
No, but it seems very collectory.
Oh, yeah, you gotta collect
kinda.
shards. Like,
Like
100 of them.
collectathon stuff.
I gotta
Assassin's
tell you,
Creed is
Mikey
one of
Ball's
those
the
games.
expert
Oh,
on
the
that one.
fucking flags in that game.
I'm usually not a big fan of collectible games, but Banjo-Kazooie just made it so fun and so entertaining. And
Yeah,
Well, Batman had amazing collectibles. Just saying.
I don't like Batman. I don't like Batman. I love Batman. I don't like the Batman games. What we're talking about the N64.
Another podcast.
Did you hear that split second
We're
of dead silence?
We're talking about the
Not-
N64
Yep,
here.
Yep.
Banjo-Kazooie IGN rating out of 10. Anyone want to take a guess?
9.7.
10 out of 10? No, it's not that good.
8.9.
9.6
Ah,
out of 10 from
wow.
IGN.
Fantastic.
That's pretty good.
Amazing game.
Then again, I don't really,
And back
I don't
then,
really trust IGN's
back,
ratings.
No,
all
back
that
then they
much.
were real. Back
'Cause
then they were legitimate.
I don't know.
I mean, they were all pretty much consistent.
There's
If-
games that I've played that I can't agree with IGN's ratings, and there's games I have that
well,
I can.
Well, to be fair, you have shitty taste in video games.
I really don't think so.
With fucking Fallout 3.
Oh.
You just said that on the wrong podcast, my friend.
What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? Come on.
What are we supposed to do?
I can't do anything. It's not like I can hit you with the microphone.
We need
You're
video.
wrong. Stop.
2 years later, November
back to
20th,
Canada.
2000. Guess what comes out?
Banjo-Tooie?
Banjo-Tooie.
Yeah.
And
Great game.
good name.
And I fucking love Banjo-Tooie. I like Banjo-Tooie more than Banjo-Kazooie.
I did enjoy that you could be a
Wow.
dinosaur. I mean, that was.
Remember the boss fight where you have to shoot the stitches on the big blow-up dinosaur?
I do remember
Yes.
that,
Puppet
actually.
stitches.
Yes.
I
That
played
game's-
more of that game than I remember, actually.
I played so much of that game. The game's amazing, and it upped the collectibles. Like
It
it's
did.
music notes, jiggies, Jinjos.
It frustrated. I didn't know who to go
everything.
to when I wanted to change into something. I was like, Mumbo Jumbo
Yeah,
was no longer the changing
she's
guy.
gone. It was what was her name? Humba Wumba.
Humba Wumba, Jumbo Wumba, I don't know. Chumbawamba,
Humba
that's a
Wumba.
good song. Band.
That game was very adult for an E rating.
Speaking of adults,
It was. It had a lot
That
of
was a theme back
adult
then,
games
though.
on the 64. What about Conkers?
Well, I want to get into Rare as a whole because we're talking about Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. Fucking Rare is like unbelievable at making video games. At least they were back then.
Yeah, back in the day.
Fucking
Certainly.
Now everything's
Banjo-Kazooie,
Connect related.
Banjo-Tooie, Perfect Dark, Conker's Bad Fur
Yes.
Day, Diddy Kong
Conkers.
Racing,
GoldenEye.
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 If you want to go
Holy
back
shit.
even further, they did all the Donkey Kong countries, right? Unbelievable
Mm.
games, and now fucking Microsoft has them making Connect Sports.
Connect shit.
God damn it! Where is my Banjo 3E, Microsoft?
If you donate to the Elbow Draft, we will take them hostage to produce good games again, please.
But anyway,
Bob will.
something that I looked up when I was doing research on Banjo-Tooie, something that was kind of interesting. There was originally a game mode called Bottle's Revenge, where a second player could take control of certain bosses in the game through Bottle's help and fight against whoever was actually playing the single player part. It was a way to get more multiplayer into the game,
That sounds amazing.
right?
I want to
Does
play
it?
that right now.
The creator of the game said it worked well, but they just didn't include it for some reason,
Oh.
right?
That probably would have been a cool little thing to do.
That was cool. I think. What do you think about the first-person shooter parts of the game? It was very controversial when it came out, and even to this day, people argue whether they're good or bad.
It was out of place, but for the best of reasons.
I mean,
I enjoyed it.
It definitely felt strange, but at the same time, it was super fun. 'Cause
No,
it was
but-
rare and it was super well done.
That's what I'm saying. Like they'd made GoldenEye, so they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
That's probably why I liked it so much.
I don't know how much. I didn't really like it when you had to do it in the main game, but the multiplayer was definitely fun. I remember.
Absolutely.
I remember using the eggs that you could turn into like little walking bombs and you control them.
That was the only thing I did.
Hours. It's like the proximity mines in GoldenEye. It's just the iconic weapon that everybody used. But Banjo-Tooie, IGN rating out of 10?
9.8.
No fucking idea.
No way. 9.4. 9.4.
Oh, wow.
A little bit less than its predecessor.
See, that's how I feel, but I know you guys might feel differently.
I like Banjo-Tooie more. Like, if I were to grade it out of 10, I probably would give Banjo-Tooie like a 9.6 and Banjo-Kazooie 9.5. It's close.
Maybe that for me too, but other way around.
Yeah,
Alright.
Banjo-Kazooie over Banjo-Tooie.
I don't know, because the first one I guess had more of an
Totally
effect.
understandable. I like the
Well-
second one because it's bigger. It's definitely bigger.
No, it was bigger and everything, but I don't know why. Like I just felt like I was playing the next installment rather than having like another whole new experience, per se.
That's understandable.
All right, so how does everybody feel about Buck Bumble?
What?
The fuck is Buck Bumble?
You don't remember Buck Bumble? Buck Bumble was
I'm
this
shaking
game.
my head no. I should enunciate that.
That's, that's a good point. I can see that. Buck Bumble was this game where you played as this bumblebee who was like
Yes, I think I did play that.
As Jerry Seinfeld?
no, that was a
All
B movie. It
Two
was good.
people got that reference in the
Yeah.
world. Hopefully they listen.
It was not that bad.
Jerry Seinfeld's one of them, hopefully. But anyway, you were just this bumblebee, and there was like a war for your colony.
Yes, I did play
and
this.
So it was ants.
it was annoying, and
This sounds horrible.
it was fun, and it had a good song and an intro, and you could play soccer with bees and multiplayer. I don't know. It was check it out.
Well,
I have a lot of N64 games that you might not have heard of, like Tonic Trouble.
Hold on, wait. What was the name of the other one? Because I got my laptop open. I'll look it up. What do we
Beast
got?
Story, I think you said.
No,
Beast?
that's not
No, that's the
always.
B movie.
What is it called? Bumble something?
Buck Bumble.
Buck Bumble.
That's the world's greatest name.
So to the creators,
Bumble, 1998 Argonaut Games, Ubisoft, 1-4 player action adventure shooter.
yes.
It fucking exists.
well,
It
Argonaut
does.
Games. Thank you for making the most useless
It does.
N64.
Hold on,
game.
I gotta
of
read
all
the,
time.
I gotta read the plot here because it's pretty fucking funny. The year is 2010, and as a result of the prevalent spill at a chemical factory in London, England, the insects in the surrounding area have mutated. Several different types of these mutated insects gather together, becoming the evil herd, who are bent on taking over the garden and eventually the whole world. The game casts the player as Buck Bumble, a volunteer bumblebee that gets implanted with cyborg technology. He's a part of an organization known as the Resistance that's trying to stop the evil herd army. Buck's missions send him to defend the Resistance base, attacking herd supplies and traveling through the sewers, and eventually fighting the herd's mantis-style queen.
I feel like somebody wrote a really bad movie script and got turned down to everywhere.
So let's move
And-
along from Buck Bumble.
I think the idea of
and then just put a bee in it
of
instead of a human.
Cyborg B
Yeah.
is classic. IGN score out of 10,
Please tell me.
4 out of 10.
3.5.
7.2.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
But-
pretty good. Back then.
But N64 magazine,
No way.
9.2.
Oh, of course.
Little,
course.
Little bias.
If we want to guess,
64.
I guess maybe the best Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it a 6.6.
No, I'll take
That's
it.
probably the most.
I've played the game. It
Game
was
rank,
okay.
The aggregate score is around 70%.
GameSpot doesn't have a review on that.
GameSpot, 5.2 out of 10.
That's
There you
legit.
go.
Legit. That's it.
That's the legit one.
It sucked.
There's
Sorry,
many,
Larry.
yeah, there's many other hidden gems on the N64. It's one of the things I love about it. Is
Oh.
there's just these games that exist that you just were like, they made a game like that.
V, remember that game I forgot who you borrowed it from. You played the space guy. You spilled your coffee.
Jet Force Gemini.
Jet Force Gemini.
Oh,
That's
that's a name.
That's
you
a
should
classic.
Know. That's
you
a
fought
great
giant
game.
ants in that game, didn't you? You fought insects.
It was like Starship Troopers for
you
kids.
Did. That was a
Yes,
great,
that's exactly
great
what
game.
it was. And you had a little flying backpack.
That was I forget the guy's
That was
name.
an
I think the girl's name was
amazing
Juno.
Game.
That really was a fantastic game. I mean, the graphics in it were phenomenal. The story,
I used to
it was a
love
little
the
hard to
enemies.
follow the story, but just the gameplay itself was so
You
much
had-
fun.
it was
just
one of those
running
ga-
around and shooting those ants, collecting
It
their
was one of
heads.
those games where you just ran around and you had a massive
Good old
arsenal.
days.
Good old days. We just shot ants with
Jet Force
cybernetic
Gemini. Guess who
enhancements.
developed that game?
Rare.
Rare.
Not surprised.
Wow.
Guess what Jet Force Gemini was called in Japan?
Gemini Jet Force.
Nope.
That was a good guess.
Star Twins.
Star Twins.
Star
oh
Twins.
yeah, there were two.
That
That's
makes
right.
sense. You know what the best part about that game was?
What?
That you had the little Xbox 360 controller following you around
That's what I was
everywhere
saying.
you
You
went.
had the little floating backpack.
GameSpot gives Jet Force Gemini 8.8 out of 10.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
It
great.
was
8.8
such a
out of
fun
10.
game, man.
It's
Remember the ending
aggregates
though?
about
The ending was
80%.
heartbreaking.
What's
I
that?
don't want to spoil it. Remember the ending? When you
Yeah,
got to the
it
end, you gotta
was.
get up there?
I don't think you can spoil something that's 16 years old, Bobby. Go
That's
for
true.
it.
No, because they're trying to introduce people to great classics that they should play, which they can get their hands on for dirt cheap. So I'm not really gonna spoil it.
I don't think
That's
you're getting Jet Force Gemini dirt cheap. I bet you if I went on eBay right
Go
now,
on
it's
eBay
like
right now, take a look.
35
How much-
I'll go right now. You got
Let
the,
Patch
you got
look.
the,
All right, so what's the what do we want to focus on next? Like our favorites or
Well, this is what we're talking about. I mean, I was actually playing. I don't know if you guys remember, but it's the only sports game I ever owned for the N64, and it's
Mario Tennis.
no
Jet Force Gemini, $18.
Okay, not bad, $18.
I mean,
still
there's
pretty
there's
high
some
for
outrageous
64 game.
outrageous ones like $100 like in the
but
box.
it's sealed.
Like sealed in the
Okay,
box.
that's
No, this
sealed
is
in the
this
box.
is this no, this is just the cartridge. Is $18.99.
That's not bad.
Buy it now. Sale ends in 3 hours.
That's pretty good.
If you want Jet Force Gemini, hope that we upload this soon.
So one of my favorite games for the 64 was a sports game. The only sports game I ever owned is actually Mike Piazza Strike Zone.
Yes.
Piazza Strikes.
But-
Let's
well,
look this
baseball.
bad boy up.
That was the '90s. That was literally like the heyday of baseball. Before I think just went the crap. But
Mike
it was
Piazza
great, man.
Strike Zone by Devil's Thumb Entertainment.
yes,
Not released in PAL or Japan.
I tell you, N64 not well known for its sports games.
No, but Mike Piazza Strike Zone was special, man. I
There's
mean,
only 2 players.
they had a home run derby.
My
They
God, it doesn't even have scores.
really doesn't have scores. Wow, maybe I should
It's
stop
got
talking
no-
about
its
that.
Wikipedia page is bone dry. Oh no, there we go. Nintendo Power.
doesn't
I can't.
20 out of 10.
I can't. Nintendo Power gave it a 5.4 out of 10.
Jesus Christ.
IGN gave it a 3 out of 10.
Get
Go
out
home,
of here,
Vito.
Vito,
man.
tremendous.
See, now I understand why he doesn't always agree with IGN.
Just tremendous taste in gaming, Vito. My
I,
man.
Have you ever
Uh,
played Mike Piazza Strike Zone?
Yeah, have you ever played Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest? That's
I
a
did.
great
I
That's a
like
great
Mike
game.
Piazza 1,000 times better than Ken
I'm
Griffey
gonna look up
Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest. See what scores I got.
What was the game that I played that never?
Where does
really-
K come in
Turok.
for that?
I love the Turok series.
Dude.
That game was a classic. Turok Dinosaur Hunter, I believe it was called.
Yeah, Turok Dinosaur.
I remember the How did I get that game? Did you have it? You gave it to
Kobe
me?
Bryant.
Yeah, I think I had it and I played it and then I gave it to you.
Because the cover had like Turok and he's getting attacked by this
That's how it
raptor and
happened.
he's stabbing him with the knife and I'm like, I have to play this game.
Yeah, it was great.
And that like almost every game I feel like from like 1988 to 2006, it was just one guy with a massive arsenal of weapons. The weapons in that game were the best part.
Just
The enemies, I hated the AI.
Just to let you know, IGN gave Ken Griffey Jr. 7.9 out of 10.
Go
Really?
home, Vito. You
Fuck
lose.
Mike Piazza.
Do not agree with IGN on
What are we
most
talking about?
things.
Turok?
If
Dinosaur?
I
Turok,
may interject
Yeah, I'll
on Turok,
look that up. Go
I
ahead.
had the first Turok for N64, and here's my experience with Turok because I was a little wimp.
Oh
and
my
I
god,
just,
there's a lot of Turok games.
I just bitched out.
Oh, there's so many. The lore in that series.
At CVS, I purchased a Tips and Tricks video game magazine,
Pussy.
and I used all the codes in Turok,
What
skipped
up?
all the levels, put in all the weapons,
What
Wah.
up, bitch?
and just bossed
Bitch.
through the game.
Oh,
What a
dude,
bitch.
that's not how you play video games.
Yeah, but then I eventually went back and did it right.
I did that.
But the
like,
first time,
the
oh, it
freaking
was so
hard
much
way.
fun.
I could imagine.
Just bazooka in a T-Rex with a or flamethrower.
I just
in it.
remember
Oh.
spending countless hours trying to get past like the first 15 minutes of the game, and I
You were
could
just-
not do it at first.
Here's what happened with you, Vito. You would
You
either
were searching for Jeff
finish a
Goldblum.
game. Dr. Grant, where are you? Don Vito would either like finish a game beginning to end, or he would not be able to get past the first 5 minutes. Not because he's like, I'm just not feeling it. He just
Oh,
could
that's-
not get past.
That's a
the
good
first 5
segue
minutes.
into the next game I want to talk about.
Go for it.
Well, I won't cut you
Turok
off, but I
was
will say
amazing.
Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. He's got the
That's
same
another
story
one.
with
Yes,
it,
yes.
I could get past it. I don't.
but forever you could not get past the freaking
When I was
Deku
a
tree.
kid, yes, I couldn't get
That's
past
the
the
easiest
Deku tree.
one.
But I have gotten past it now, and I got stuck at another part.
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, the Dongo Cavern.
Released November 21st, 1998 in Japan, 23rd in the US. Definitely top 5 favorite games of all time.
I
think we
could
can
hear
all
the
agree.
passion in your voice there.
I think we can all agree, right?
He's
Yeah.
crying.
I can certainly agree with
Top
that.
5 favorite?
Yeah.
No,
Why not?
I don't like Ocarina of
But
Time.
you like fucking Mike Piazza's baseball.
Yeah, Mike Piazza was a great game.
Three
Shut
points.
up,
It was a great
Vito.
baseball
Shut
game.
up. No, it wasn't.
You fucking like that game too,
Because it was
Bob.
easy. You hit the A button and you swing and you only get
Yes, it
home
was
run.
fun.
Some
No, it
notes.
wasn't.
Some notes I have here about Ocarina of Time. It was originally planned as a launch title. It was originally Miyamoto, who is a god to all of us, originally planned for it to be first person. Which,
Wow.
yeah, I probably would have fucking hated this game then because I don't think like an action adventure game should be first person ever.
Yeah, I don't know if that
which
would have
is-
worked.
Which is why I don't like Fallout.
I was just saying,
But-
Skyrim would be your roast. The Elder
like-
Scrolls
I don't like
series
Skyrim
would
either.
never get along with you.
Don't like it. Anyway,
Go home.
have you guys ever heard about the controversial changes of Ocarina of Time that were made like once it was released the first time and then re-released again?
I've heard a few, but like, which ones are you talking about?
So there's the Mirror Shield controversy. Have you heard about that?
I'll refresh my memory.
I think this is a good spot to call this the end of part 1 of our Nintendo 64 podcast. What do you think, Vito?
Yeah, I don't want it to run too long, so we'll be back next week. We'll post part 2 of the Nintendo 64 D-pad podcast.
Sounds good to me.